Hello, everyone. Very, very, very warm welcome to this almost spring day in Michigan, where we welcome you from the Let Us Talk It platform. Everyone who has joined in, we thank you. And those who are thinking of joining, we always say that this is an we try to make the community informed and empowered. So if you have anything to add on, please do that with your knowledge, with your power, with your position, anything of that sort. It's absolutely for the community. So if you can bring in that, we will be always appreciative. And with that, we begin today's session. We have two powerful topics today. And one of the topic, the first one to start with, is what is the pattern that is holding you back? You know, getting up in the morning and doing the same thing, and then at the end, we feel sad that we did not achieve what we have. What we wanted to do, we did not achieve that. Maybe that is what our speaker is going to talk about, or is there something other pattern that she would talk about? We don't know. So let's wait, see, and we can ask her questions. She said that after her presentation, she'll have time to answer your questions. And about Martina, she is Dr. Martina Wagner, and she's an executive business coach, emotional and physical intelligence expert. Quite a new expert. I did not hear that phrase before. And the co-founder of Artis Humanis, a boutique executive development firm that helps entrepreneurs and leaders advance their careers and succeed in business. She also authored the book, An Introduction to Physical Intelligence, highlighting the fundamental impact of physical intelligence on our thinking, decisions, and ultimately on our ability to reach our full potential. So we have something amazing lined up for you. And then the next topic will be, again, another interesting one. We cannot wait to hear that. So the absolute honor to have you, Martina and Raj. Over to you, Martina.
Well, thank you so much, Julian. It's a pleasure to be here, and welcome everybody to the topic of patterns. And as Julian already said, it's impacting every single moment of our living experience. So I'm sharing a little bit more as to how to discover these patterns, and specifically the one that is limiting you, and what you can do about it. So let me share my screen here, and let's get going. So Julian already gave a introduction, and I'm trying to move my slides forward here, and they're not cooperating. There we go. So we're going to be talking about patterns. I'll give you an introduction, what patterns are all about, and then explain some examples of what these patterns are that are holding us back. And some of you are probably aware of things that are holding you back, but I have to say that a lot of these patterns live in the shadows, and it takes some discovering. Other people usually know much more about our patterns than we do. We're going to be talking about effective ways to establish new or break these limiting patterns. And that's where we're going to be jumping into physical intelligence and why it is important. And then I'll just share a few words about the relationships between physical intelligence and emotional intelligence, so you can kind of like put this into perspective as to where these intelligence, how they coexist, and how they are related to each other. And then we'll briefly talk about programs from Artis Humanis that allow you to work on patterns and specifically use them as well to establish key competencies and traits that help you succeed and move your career goals or personal goals forward. So have you ever thought about what drives your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions? Usually we live in such a fast-paced world that we just act, we go, we make decisions, we need to like work with other people, but we seldomly take a moment and step back and say, okay, what am I actually using? How is my mind working? What is influencing the thoughts that I have every day that I use to make decisions and interact with others? Well, most of us believe, because we've been brought up to believe that our conscious mind is super powerful, we're the ones who are making objective decisions, and reality, unfortunately, looks a little bit different. If you remember, for those of you who read Thinking Fast and Slow from Dr. Kahneman, remember system 1 and 2, and remember the percentages that he outlined. We're spending 98% in our system 1, which is largely influenced by our subconscious, is automated reactions and decisions and thoughts that are constantly coming. And how are all of these decisions and all of that being formed? Well, it's our life experiences, the people that have influenced us, the culture that we grew up in, and life events. Have you had any type of traumatic experiences? Are they things that happened in your childhood that left a mark on your perception, on your emotional outfit? Do you have any scars? All of these things will impose on your thinking without you having any idea that it does. So to take a little excursion to understand patterns a little bit more, think about for a moment, what is more important, what you do or how you do it? And if anyone wants to say and take a guess, then please speak out. And we rightfully will say, well, what I do is really, really important, because if I don't do it, I don't make progress, et cetera, et cetera. But think about it. How you do something is really crucial. And the interesting thing about the how is that it is actually rooted in our subconscious. It's shaped by all of these life experiences, by the culture, by all of these different influences. And we'll get into some examples to make that more plastic for everybody to understand. So think about, because our brain, and it's not only our brain, but we know that we think and we make decisions with different parts of our body. Just think about the gut decisions that we make. So think about the mind and the body and everything that you use for thinking and making decisions as a landscape of patterns. You have your cognitive mind, and then there's the subconscious landscape that is shaped by all of these synaptic connections and is shaped by all of your different experiences. What we do know that it influences how we do things, of what we just discussed. The interesting part is you can say how you do one thing is how you do everything. So these patterns will influence everything that you do. And not only what we do, but also our beliefs, our mindset. So everything that we believe is us, and how we see the world, and how we shape our goals and make all of our decisions. So the key thing to understand is that everyone has patterns, specifically one that is more important than all of the other ones. And a lot of these patterns have relationships and related to each other that is limiting them. And that is really crucial to understand for your personal development. It's not like you have a clean slate and you can just make decisions No, you have to deal with this pattern that resides somewhere in your subconscious. And take a moment and think, what is your pattern? And how has it possibly limited you or even negatively impacted your success and your ability to reach goals? If anyone wants to share, jump in. So here are some examples of patterns. And some of these might sound familiar to you or might sound like you've heard them before or know people that have these types of patterns. And it starts with just low self-confidence. Low self-confidence. If you're in business meetings, and a lot of women have a pattern related to this, they are afraid to speak up, afraid to have to let their voice being heard, bring their ideas forward, afraid to be criticized. Fear of rejection. If you're in sales, how easy is it to reach out to customers that you don't know, prospects that you don't know, do cold calls? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be turned down, say, no, I don't want to listen to you, go away. A scarcity mindset, never getting enough. We see that all around us. People that just amass power, money, can never get enough. Well, why? Is there a pattern in the background? Is it really necessary to have all of this? Imposter syndrome. People don't think that they have earned or really are able to fulfill the roles, the jobs that they are filling. Perfectionism, who has been held back by wanting to make everything perfect before moving forward, and therefore just getting stopped and not moving because nothing is ever perfect. Everything changes. Negative thinking, self-sabotage, even very deep-seated patterns like dyslexia. Your ability, the ability of your mind to actually process information, to be able to read, all of these things can be understood as patterns in our subconscious. So patterns are, as we understand now, ingrained in our identity, in our attitudes, in our beliefs, in our mindset. They shape our thinking, our actions, and our overall behavior, our interactions with others, our leadership style, the way that we interact in an organization, the way that we make decisions about ourselves, our career, our family. Patterns shape your reality, and with that, your life. So knowing that, how can we make a change? If we understand what that pattern is that is limiting us, if we say, hey, I have all of these negative thoughts and they don't allow me to move forward. Well, the first part is to identify what is actually holding you back. And then start an effort to make a change so you can free yourself from that influence. And yes, it is absolutely possible to do that. Now, what we found out is that a lot of these patterns, and especially the ones that have like with self-confidence and self-worth, and which are like at the root of a lot of these different patterns, is they are deep-seated and they have really entrenched emotional aspects and even physical aspects. I mean, think about the fear, how that impacts you, your entire body as you're getting into that reaction. So to just say, hey, I'm going to stop doing this is not really going to work. You have to really make an effort to work on it. But it's not that difficult because now we have tools available that are actually will help you to get to these deep-seated patterns. And the trick here is to not use your cognitive mind, because it really doesn't have a whole lot of impact here, but to actually use your physiology, use your body to impact and shape your mind. And this is where I want to introduce the concept of physical intelligence. Physical intelligence, we understand, is our most fundamental intelligence. As I said, it is rooted in our subconscious, in that landscape of pattern that we heard about earlier. And the important aspect to understand is that it's really underpinning your other intelligence, your emotional intelligence, and also your cognitive intelligence. In that, it is extremely powerful because it can influence both of them. And what we now have are these very specific tools that allow you to make directional change in your overall landscape of patterns and bring about sustainable change that will allow you to change your mindset, your thinking, your behaviors, your actions, and with that, the results that you're getting. So we can not only break limiting patterns that we've discussed, but we are also able to establish new patterns that are able to help us to do the types of things that we want to do, to achieve our goals, to move our career forwards, to interact better with others, to increase our emotional intelligence, to be better leaders. All of these things are possible if we tap into that physical intelligence. Now, I mentioned that physical intelligence underpins emotional intelligence. And with that, it's important to understand that it's very hard to make a decision from today to tomorrow. For those of you who have been tapping into their emotional intelligence, perhaps taking courses and assessments that rate how your emotional intelligence is. And as we understand today, if you want to be an effective leader, you really have to have a high level of EQ. Well, it's very hard to turn on your emotional intelligence from this moment to the next, because it really has something to do with your emotions and your ability to perceive and manage your emotions and yourself. Well, here's the good news. Tapping into your physical intelligence will allow you to shape your emotional intelligence and all of these different aspects of emotional intelligence that are so important, like self-awareness, managing yourself, and all of the interactions with others. Just a very brief chart for those of you who are familiar with emotional intelligence. You've probably seen that, but Capgemini, which is a research organization, has looked at emotional intelligence and organizations that have invested in bringing emotional intelligence training into their organization. And not only do the organizations see incredible amount of benefits, you see here 63% increase in productivity and efficiency, higher employee satisfaction, which obviously is going to play into retention, which is a huge topic these days, and even increase in market share. But on the employee side, very, very important as well, better emotional and mental well-being, reduced fear of job loss, and also openness to change. And we know everything changes constantly in this world. So as a leader, it is hugely important for you to invest in your emotional intelligence and really invest into learning about yourself, to really be able to come across as an authentic leader and being able to connect with others and understand where they're at, so you're able to lead, you motivate, and engage other individuals. And as we know, there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of impact on leaders these days. Just look at the politicians around us, of what they have to face these days. You have to be able to work on your resilience and your power to motivate yourself to reach your goals. All of these things are possible if you are tapping into your physical intelligence and work on those leadership skills to better lead and motivate others and yourself to be successful. So a lot of different applications for physical intelligence. And I'm just going to say this in closing, and then we're just going to take a look at what we do from my organization's point of view. But I hope I made a case that you really see how physical intelligence can help in your personal and professional development, starting from understanding how you think and make those changes that are important to give you the possibility to take control of your mind and really use it in the most effective way. Building new skills is easier if you can lay the foundation of a pattern that is going to help you move yourself forward and being able to practice that skills. Gaining, again, control over your body, over your emotions, and over your mind is extremely helpful. And that is the path to unleash your true potential and really do the things that you love to do and that you want to achieve in your career and in your personal life. If you want to learn more about physical intelligence, this was just a very brief introduction. I wrote a book together with the person I've been training with for over 20 years, which is a grandmaster and is teaching self-mastery. So this is where a lot of the information is coming from. And I've been training myself for over 20 years with that individual, Daniel Johnson. There's a lot more to learn about physical intelligence. So you can check out the book on Amazon, or you can join us for one of the programs that we have to teach physical intelligence in the context of teaching leadership skills that will give you an opportunity to tap into those patterns, work through the limitations that you have, and really establish patterns that will propel your career forward and really establish you as a authentic, important, and successful leader moving forward. And with that, I have a few minutes that I wanted to leave for a Q&A today. So if anyone wants to jump in and ask questions, ask away.
Hi, my name is.
Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead, Rajini. Yeah.
So I can totally relate to like every reason that you just gave.
Great. Glad to hear that.
So I think for me, I do see it after the fact. Like I'm like, oh, this is the same pattern. I fell back again. And I think it's kind of like hard for me to like pinpoint on exactly where it happened. That's one thing. Even for like some, some patterns where I recognize this is what is happening and I don't know how to change it.
Right.
That's because this is what I know and that's what I'm doing, which is my pattern, and I know it's not working. I don't know how to change it. So those are the two questions, if you could address.
Right. So it's actually quite interesting that, and I don't know if I understood that right, but looking at your parents is a very good way of actually seeing some of the patterns that you yourself have. And usually we don't like those aspects that we have in them. So that gives you a clue as well that there are some underlying things, because one thing that I didn't speak about, and I should really as a molecular biologist, is patterns can be inherited. So they get passed down over lineages. And sometimes you don't even know where something comes from because it's not an influence that happened in your life, but it still shaped your subconscious. Now, the good news is that you're actually aware of a pattern or that something is going on. And as you said, sometimes it's more in hindsight that you see these types of things. Because again, our minds, thinking about the system 1 and system 2, is structured that we actually don't, we're very impulsive. Our 98% of the time that we use our mind, it just really drives the thinking that is automated.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to take a step back and say, hey, what did I actually do? How did I react? Was that actually okay? Now, knowing that you have something that you need to work on, it's really for you to identify what is the best path to be able to get there. So as I explained, physical intelligence gives you a very effective way because you go right to the root and you actually start using a different concept. You start using your physical body to start interfering in the process, which is, from my perspective, the most effective one.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hi, Martina. That was a very lovely presentation, and I was intrigued by the topic. So I loved everything you've shared. My question is that the examples of patterns, it's so important to see them because if someone else is behaving in a way that you don't agree with, that could possibly be because you don't have that pattern in you, but they could be operating from a different pattern. But for me, that's like a very good wise tool for me to use when I'm working with a group, because it seems very obvious sometimes, like it's okay, you know, it's okay to do something, but then they could be operating from, like you said, you know, fear or scarcity mindset, and that could be something that I went past. But for me, you know, the imposter syndrome really applies because I think even for women, as in like you project confidence because you act it before you feel it. And that is imposter syndrome really alive because you're just as nervous as someone else in a public situation.
Mhm.
But because you don't show it and you come across and you're seen as someone with confidence, but that imposter syndrome would be there. So my question to you was more like, what would be like 3 top exercises that you would give us for tapping into our physical intelligence? Because I still don't understand the concept of physical intelligence. I probably think we're all using it in certain ways to get over these patterns, but I love the fact that you can nail it and show it, and then we can read about it, and then it's possible for each of us to do it. So how do I tap into physical intelligence? Like, what would be some exercises?
Actually, thank you very much for your comment and also that question. And I just wanted to make, before I jump into the physical intelligence part, I just wanted to make one comment. Sometimes I think that it's actually amazing that we understand each other, because you think about how much every person is different in how their context, their family, their culture, their life, the different types of events that happen to them have shaped their mind. And if you will, how little influence we have over all of this as individuals. I mean, it's kind of like as though environment really has shaped us, and a lot of these reactions, because they're subconscious, we don't really are aware of. So it's an excellent point that you say, every time that you're interacting with somebody, to give them the benefit of the doubt, because you don't know what is going on in that other person. I mean, you half of the time don't even know what's going on inside of you. So it's an excellent point. Now, I know it was 30 minutes is not a whole lot of time to jump into physical intelligence, but the key thing is that you actually enlist your physical body to start making changes. And the one thing that you can start working with, and what we do is a combination of actually using your breath work together with physical movements that are very, very specific because they induce a certain state of mind. And that's a whole lot for me to be able to show, as well as explaining the concept. But one thing that you can start doing, which you might already, is we all breathe because we have to. But many of us have not understood well how powerful that breath is to actually interrupt automated action. So whenever you find yourself in a tailspin of an emotion you don't want to have an experience, or in a thought process where you have like negative thoughts and it's going like around and around and it's driving you crazy, just breathe. Deep breathing releasing things, practicing these types of mechanisms to allow you to really interrupt the action that your mind automatically engages in. That is the first step. As I said, there's a lot of different things that we can do, enlisting movement, different types of breathing techniques that we can use, and other type of release techniques that we offer as part of our program. But I would say if you start using your breathing effectively and using different types of techniques, that gives you a glimpse in terms of what is possible tapping into that physical intelligence.
That makes so much sense, Martina. I think, like I was saying, I was thinking also that we could already be using something, but we don't know what it is. And I like it when I see it as an engineering mindset for me, like to see it concrete on the paper, that it is the breathing. So I remember when in tense situations, like before an interview, I'm waiting, automatically I'm going deep breaths in and out. And these days, I even started adding some voice to it, like it's a part of a pranayama. But even when I'm driving and I'm late somewhere and I cannot, and I feel helpless because it's just going to be late and that's it. So I do the Brahmari pranayama, which is like making a humming sound as I'm breathing. And my kids are like, "Mom, you're being a bee." But I feel like it really like it lulls me to calmer mindset. And I'm happy to hear that scientifically you are saying similar stuff. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, and thanks for sharing that with everybody, that you're already using these breathing techniques. And yeah, absolutely keep practicing them, because the beautiful thing is, and I'm sorry, I'm like have a little sunshine here is coming through my window, is that the more you practice it, the more you actually start shaping your brain to use that pattern, and the more effective it will become to immediately be able to snap out of your specific state of mind or emotion that you're in. So again, thanks for sharing that. And I think we're over the 30 minutes that are allocated. So I wanted to definitely make some room and time for Raj to come and talk about his subject. So thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate you tuning in for the talk. And please do reach out on LinkedIn or any other platform if you have any further questions or are interested in joining us for any of our programs.
That is perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Martina Wagner. That's really very impressive. So again, if you wish to get connected, you can email her or go through LinkedIn and communicate offline. So moving forward, as mentioned, we will be going to the next topic for today. As myself have been induced in this type of issue as well. Like my Facebook was hacked, so I have to create a new one. Luckily, no other informations was taken. So the topic would be cybersecurity awareness. So protecting our society and girls from the dangers of cyber attacks or hacking personal informations. So this will be given by Raj Tiwari, cyber aware. He is actually uh, wanting to share everything about cyber awareness for girls who post their videos and photos, as well as sharing info to unknown strangers. So since we have extended a few minutes from the initial topic, so I'll let Raj introduce the rest about him and go with the topic. Thank you so much, Raj.
Yes, hello everyone. Myself, I'm Raj Tiwari. Actually, I am a cybersecurity expert and I'm working as a cybersecurity consultant in Saget. Actually, I have taken the lots of seminar and webinar in cybersecurity, and people are just understanding that what is the cybersecurity means. The cybersecurity doesn't mean that you are only securing the system and securing this securing the computer and securing the company, but the meaning of the cybersecurity is this: how much you are securing yourself. Firstly, when you are going to secure like a system and company and this network, everything, but if you don't know that how to secure yourself, then how can you secure the system? And most of the people actually I saw that there are so many girls and so many boys who's posting the personal information in the social media platform. They don't know actually what would be happen after taking the information, because we know that the first topic of the cyber security is this, taking the information gathering. Yeah, either taking the information of everything, then we are going to attack on the particular system or the particular things. It's like in these things, the human hacking is also there. Human hacking, it means that you are getting the information from that particular man that who has to attack, like that have to attack on this system, and we are getting the password, getting the anything, getting the password, pin code, everything that you are getting from that man. So if you are putting your personal information, like suppose that if you have an account in any other bank and the same mail ID you are posting in your Facebook, Instagram, and the LinkedIn, the person of that attackers, what they do, they take your mail ID and take the information from the social media, mail ID, date of birth, and whatever. Like in India, there is an Aadhaar card. If these all the things are they connected with your bank and everything, if suppose that if you are going in your bank and you don't have any idea about what is the account number, you are simply giving your mail ID, and the people who is sitting in the bank, the officer who is sitting in the bank, they find out that okay, which account that you have. It means that everything is linked up, and you are putting your information, you are putting your email ID and email ID and the private information on the social media. By this way, there is a system in a Kali Linux, and there is a system like the software is there. They can take your every information, take your bank account, bank details, and and they can attack on the cyber attack like a bank accounts. Have you ever seen that? Have you know that there is a point? There is a always there is a news that someone has stolen your money from this digital account and whatever it is. That is the main reason that who the people are only sharing their account, sharing their information on the social media. Firstly, secondly is that key why we share our everything like a phone number. Whenever you are, the phone number is also important. The phone number is also attached with your personal files and everything. If you know that, if you know that you can keep your things in your cell phone, there will be the two mobile numbers. Why not you have to keep in the private, and why not to keep your things on the social media? Okay. And what the things that most of the girls do, they post their photos and videos and everywhere. Okay. What they do, the people from the black market, they take their photo and post somewhere else, and running all these things in a black market. This is not the good, because you know that all the social media platform, they are not they are actually not giving the guarantee of your photo, saving your photo and giving you securing your personal information. That is the main things. And whatever I actually saw, the most of the people are only be the haunted by this type of the things actually. So the cybersecurity awareness are not about having the knowledge of having the knowledge, not having the knowledge of the computer system and everything, not like a virus and not like about the virus and everything, but you have to secure yourself. That how can you secure yourself, and how can you secure from other hackers from yourself? That is the main things over here. The basic things of that of the people who is talking about the stranger. If suppose that I have a lots of account, because we are from a cyber security field, and I have a 247 248 like a Facebook, like a fake account, that we say that like a proxy account. How can I, if suppose that I'm not getting the information from the particular man, that I will become a girl and I will become a proxy man, and I will ask about like, have you seen like a honey trap things in Pakistan and whatever it is the people do in the in this field. So we are taking the information from that particular man by the making a different and different account, like a proxy account, and then we all are taking the information, and then we hit on the target. That the things is that if you don't know that person, if you don't know that man, don't talk to them. Don't talk to that person. Okay. If you are talking that person, if you are talking that person, but don't give your each and every information. What the things is there, that I saw the most of the people, and suppose that in India there are lots of the people, just they are getting the call from bank manager, Mr. Raj, that I am talking about from SBI and I am a bank manager. I want your account details, everything. Why the bank manager will call you, man, for a limited amount of money? No, no one will call you, and bank manager will not ask about your PIN, not ask about your anything. They don't have time. They have lots of work about the offices and everything, but the people are getting the fraud, and then they tell about each and everything, like ATM and PIN and everything. So that's great. These people has been hunted by their this one things, like their money and everything has been stolen by the unknown person. Okay, and these the things that I saw the most of the people. And one thing that I would like to say is, suppose that I am purchasing anything from OLX and whatever it is. The people, what they do, the guy who is purchasing, he's the hacker, and he send the OTP. Okay, and you are putting their OTP and you are sending their OTP, and then to that account. It means that you are transferring. It means that the guy has to transfer their money in your account, but you are transferring your money, and there is a difference between what sent and send. The lack of the differences between this, so that's why the people get confused that what we have to do, and then they went to the cyber cell, and then everything will be just like in each and every seconds, like most of the people has their all the accounts has been the blanks. So firstly, not knowing about the cyber security, but you have to know that how to secure yourself. And if anyone want to ask the question, that they can ask me.
Yeah, Raj, thank you for the inputs. Want to specifically to know what are the action items we need to do? What is that? I mean, typically, like a lot of the audience today are from USA. So we want to know what is that we are doing now and what is that we should not do. For example, I'm creating a Facebook account, or I'm posting something in Facebook. So I want more, very detailed inputs on what I should not do.
Firstly, man, first of all, your email ID. Okay, your personal information, your email ID, your phone number that you are using in your bank account, and the other things, because you know that you can carry the two numbers and 5 to 6 mail account, 5 to 6 mail email ID. If you have the email ID in your bank, don't put that email ID on your Facebook, on your social media. First of all, second number, don't put that number that who you using in your bank and everywhere, personal things for the office only. So that don't use. And whatever you are using, that photos and videos might not be much more attractive, because you are not, if you are getting the like 100 and 200, it doesn't mean that you are like you are not going to become a star and whatever it is. But if someone is looking good and these people take the photo and put in the black market, you don't know about the black market, but they are earning the money from there. So
Right.
that is the main things that I would like to say.
Okay, then I will summarize that as, do not use, the important emails, for
Important emails. Yes.
And that is point number one. And what are the other points you would like to share?
Everything, like in the social media, I would like to say that the LinkedIn is one of the good platform that you can use each and everything. But Instagram is not the place. The TikTok is not the place that you can put your every photo. Actually, every photo there. So I would like to say for the most of the girls, because I saw in India, saw in Bihar also, saw in Patna also, there are so many girls who has with a good looking, they actually in the market, in the black market, there's photo are in the black market. So don't put each and everything on the personal things, and don't put your personal things on social media. That is the main things. And whatever that you are getting from the call from everyone, don't share your information. Okay, no manager, no one is going to call you for your personal things. Okay, or whatever your PIN code and whatever your email ID and whatever, no one is going to call you. If you have some things, you have some problem, go to the bank directly. Okay.
Yeah, got But to be honest, these are all some general observations that we already know. I mean, like when I'm in social media, I definitely am to post some personal information or some of the things. I mean, it may not be completely personal, but there could be some. That is, I mean, always a given. Yeah, we need to judge before doing that. But what I'm expecting from the cybersecurity is, if you have, I mean, you can probably send an email also if you have any presentation or any other points. But we want to know concretely what are the different things we need to do, because the information that you provided is pretty generic. Okay. So it's a very general information at high level. But our audience would like to know more details. I would say you can do more research, and you can, because you are in the cybersecurity community, you can connect with your team members, and then try to send a presentation to us.
Okay, sir. I will send you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sir.
but thanks for your time on that. Yeah, please continue. I don't want to stop you.
So no. If there is a question, because there is a same thing that I would like to repeat, but they are the main point that I would like to say here. Nothing more. That presentation, whatever the presentation is there that I have, but the same presentation that I will like to repeat and repeat and repeat, that would be not good for me, I think.
No, it's
So,
not. No problem. Maybe what we can do is we can share with the knowledge of the people, audience who is here. We can share probably, like from the audience also. Any audience want to speak about what you know, or what are the tips and tricks that you follow personally? Because all of us have some knowledge on various things.
Yes.
For example,
Actually, yes.
Rajni, Sharda Garu, Madhuri, and everybody, like a lot of them here.
Yes,
Pallavi.
One
Do
thing
you
that I
know?
would like to say.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell me.
Yeah, sorry, I'm asking the audience to share their tips and tricks also, if at all they're following anything. Okay, I think all of them are on mute. So.
Hi, Srini. This is Sheeta. Very nice to hear you, Raj.
Yes, thank you so much.
I'm the person that shouldn't be talking about this topic because I understand what you're saying, and the important takeaway was not to have the same email address or phone number on social media. That's a very good thing that we can think about. But I understand, what you're saying is a very, very, very relevant and very important to the girls in India, especially, there's so much security issues happening in India. And if you remember, Mahatma Gandhi famously said that I will accept that we have freedom when the girls can walk with security in the midnight on the streets. So in more than 90% of the times, and especially for most of us here, 100% of the times, that is actually a reality. So for us, we have that freedom. When I say freedom, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean like that safety, that security that we would have, and I would love to have for that to happen in India too. So for us, social media, and I agree, too much exposure on social media is not good, but it is a visiting card of who you are, right? So when you say don't even put your profile there, it's not something that we can relate to, but we can definitely understand if you're in India, and definitely, they can. It's very relevant for them. So for us, it's like we are so secluded in this country. Like I don't know my neighbor. I don't know what's happening in the country. I don't know what's happening in my next door neighbor. I don't know anything that's happening with my community, especially with the kids, right? So if it's not for the social media, we would not be connected with humans. And as social animals, we need that connection. It's also known that too much time on social media, as well as too little time on social media, both indicate a certain mental imbalances, it seems. So that's where I think we can also have this conversation, as in what is too much and what is too little. But I really thank you that the good points that you have shared, Raj.
Yeah, thank you, Sheetal. I think the point you mentioned about the balance, yes. I mean, I think sometimes it could be attention seeking, or things like that in a higher degree and things like that. But I see Sharda Sharda Garu also raised the hand. Sharda Garu, go ahead.
For me, I don't think America is so safe too. It is a very dangerous place too, number one. I heard from my company, like even the parking lot, they were pulling the girls and taking them away in the trucks and all like that. So that is number one point. Number two, as soon as you told about the security, I changed my profile picture and I removed my daughters from that picture, Facebook pictures. Thank you so much. A lot of things, I am a older generation, so a lot of things I don't know too. Thank you so much, Raj, for letting us know a few things. And then I will look into it, how to change my email address also in the Facebook. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And then we have anybody else? Anybody else wants to share their
Yeah,
inputs?
hi. Yeah, I wanted to ask a question as well. Like as I've mentioned in the earlier part, my social media account was hacked, and in the case that I was able to, if I will be able to recover that, do you recommend me continue using that same social media account, or it's better to be set aside and then just use a new one? I think you're on mute, Raj.
Yeah, I think he's on mute. So yeah,
Yeah. You listening?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, actually, whatever I would like to say, if you learn, actually, whatever that suppose that your account has been hacked. Okay, so what you do, just delete that account. If you can't delete, no, but don't open the same account. Don't open the account with the same email ID. Okay, with the same number. Suppose that if you are opening your Facebook account with the same number, and that will, because what the hackers do, that they create the backdoors with your email account. The how many account that will open. Suppose that if you are opening in a bank, suppose that your bank account has been hacked. Okay, and one of the hacker hacked. So what we have to do, we have to delete, or either we have to close that account, but don't open with the same email ID and the same number, because they create if they are hacking, they create the backdoor also. If the backdoor will be there, if the email will be there, if the mobile number will be there, if any connection will be there, they give all the information to the hackers, and again your accounts will be hacked.
I see.
You
All
are,
right.
get, you are getting the point.
Yes, got it. Thank you so much. You have something to add more, Srini?
Oh no, nothing else. But I think definitely this topic requires more thorough, I think, evaluation into, like trying to do what are the preventive steps. There is actually we have some good software tools also to prevent. For example, in one of the last catastrophic sessions, one of the speakers recommended tools like the password boss, where you can manage all your passwords and things like that, right? So, I mean, there should be some standards and practices that we can consistently follow. That I use some of them, and then I think as Maria mentioned just now, identity theft, right? So even for identity theft, also there is some software options that we can leverage. So yeah, probably I think now that we are done, we are almost at 1 p.m. I think we'll try to have a more seasoned, kind of a brainstorming discussion and probably a panel discussion. People, cybersecurity consultants like Raj and others. We can have a panel discussion, and because this is a big topic, in my opinion, we should do that, Phil.
Yeah, why not, sir? But if you want that next week, that I can make my presentation over all, and I will show the presentation, and I will take the half an hour, more than half an hour of session in this webinar.
Yeah, it is not just about presentation, Raj. It is more about, I think we need to get a wide, from various speakers, in my opinion. I just realized this is a very big topic. So Phil will work with you further. So Phil, I think, there is no hurry to do the session, but I think let's try to get at least 4 speakers or so, and let's have a panel discussion on this. And then we can have, also some kind of takeaways from this meeting. okay, this is a software I need to use. Okay, this is the software subscription for identity theft. A lot of these things, right? So we are informally using a lot of these things among our friends and all, but I think we can have an agreed, approach. Yeah, so Phil, I think that's all from my side. If there are no more questions from the audience, yeah, you can please feel free to conclude.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, yeah, we would like to acknowledge further questions or any other takeaways you'd like to share to everyone. Then we can close the session.
If any question is there, please ask me.
Okay, so I haven't noticed anything yet on the chat and on the live streaming as well. So you can communicate with Raj and also with Martina through LinkedIn if you wish to have acquaintances offline or ask further questions with them. Please feel free to send them a message after or when you are free. All right. So again,
Okay, okay.
speakers, thank you so much for your time. Really
Thank you so much.
appreciate the
Thank you
knowledge
so much for
you
all.
have shared. Yes, Raj, thank you. And also to
Thank you
Martina.
so much.
Very pleased to have heard those insights and also the knowledge that Martina shared. But aside from that, we also want to let you know that we also have our youth sessions for the Let Us Talk It. They also do webinars like this. And if you wish to join the pre-person sessions, that happens every Tuesday and Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can register at our website, letustalkit.com/youth. So we're hoping you'd also support our youth group by doing this kind of knowledge sharing. So again, thank you so much everyone for
Thank you so much.
joining and see you again the same time next Wednesday for 2 new topics that we'll be discussing. Thank you so much and
Okay.
keep safe, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Bye.
wonderful speakers, for your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.